by the late 70s, they had developed a way to do the show. The show, you'd often hear, the show does itself now. The show does itself. You've got writers. There's a bunch of writers. Back when I was there, most of them had gone to Harvard. You've got the cast, whoever they are at the current time, a lot of them from Second City, from Chicago, a lot of people out of Toronto, then the occasional Californian, the Dana Carvey types would come in, you know. Great guy, Dana. And so you got those two groups. That's basically everybody that's up there, the cast and the writers, and then the music department, which was myself, Cheryl, Hal Wilner, and a guy named John Zonars, who worked with all of us, just kind of making sure that we knew what we were doing. And so Monday, the writers would start writing. We just did a show on Saturday night. Writers would start writing. I didn't have to do anything on Monday, usually, unless there had been some terrible mix-up at the show and there was a meeting or something about that, but that was rare. You know?
Do you recall what one of those would be like?
They weren't bad. It was just like, why did this happen? You know, what can we do to avoid this happening? It wasn't like you got yelled at by the teacher. It wasn't, and at least, I don't know how it is now, but I would assume it's pretty much the same. There's this very kind of Ivy League college dorm thing kind of going on up there. And you've got the good kids and you've got the bad kids, you know? You've got the kids who really buckle down and work. Phil Hartman, Dana, in my day, you know, Mike Myers, work. They sit in their office and they work on their stuff and they write and they go to somebody else. And then you've got the bad boys. You got me and Chris Farley and people like that, you know, and we're getting high and we're like fooling around and laughing and where the fuck are they? You know, they're supposed to be. Where's Farley? You know, funniest human being. At Belushi, people said back, you know, when I knew him, oh, John will do anything for a laugh. And I thought at the time that was true. When I met Farley, he would do anything, anything. There's nothing you can think of that he wouldn't do. When I think it was Sharon Stone was on the show, and she had just done, what's that movie?
Basic Instinct.
Where she crosses her legs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming off that, right? So she's like the hottest thing in town. And when the actors or whoever was hosting would arrive, you know, people would greet them. There was always, make sure that a few at least of the cast are there, and sometimes me and whoever, you greet them. When, I'm pretty sure it was her, when she came, anyway, Farley goes in the bathroom and he blows his nose, so he's got a big booger hanging down up his nose. And he goes, Sharon, you know, how are you? Oh, man, he would do anything. He was so funny. He would literally do absolutely anything. There was no line. He was the funniest person and a sweetheart. What a great guy. Anyway, the show. So Monday, not much happens. Certainly in my world, nothing happened. Tuesday, the writers are really down to it now. Wednesday afternoon, there's this big meeting and it has a name, and right now I'm blanking on what the name of this meeting is. Everybody comes, all the writers, and they put out their ideas. And Lauren is there, and people are listening, and there's a head writer, always. It was Jim Downey, most of the years I was there, Harvard guy. And that's it, you know, because it's all about the writing, the show. That's kind of what it's about, at least for the people that work there. And Thursday, then I start really working. Now, Wednesday, if there's ideas that have music in them, well then Cheryl and myself and whoever else is, you know, Hal Wilner, we got to get on it and start creating music for this, or getting pre-existing, pre-recorded music for it, and whatever we need. And Cheryl and I would often meet and sit and talk about that. Okay, well, this one obviously, Cheryl, is you. It's a Broadway thing and she knows that music inside out. She would, yeah, we'll do this, you know. She'd just sit down and do it. Perfect. Always. Thursday, the guest band comes for camera blocking. Get there about 11 o'clock Thursday morning. 11 o'clock in the morning is not prime time for some musicians, you know, especially the younger guys that have just kind of first tasted success and they've gotten some money and accessibility to every vice, you know. 11 is not good for them. So they'd be like, and you have to do the song several times. And Nirvana was on twice. And they were fantastic. They were good live. But I remembered, you know, Dave Grohl, he's like a puppy dog. He's always ready to rock, you know. But Chris and Kurt were not thrilled with being there, and having to play the song over and over especially was not a big one. So Thursday's that, camera blocking for the band, and continuing, sets are being built now. The carpenters, the electricians, they're working their ass off, getting the show up, getting it built. Friday, they're doing run-throughs. They're starting to, the host is there, the host has come. The host is at that meeting on Wednesday, the big writers meeting. The host is there, and the host gets to go, oh yeah, that's funny, I'll do that, or no, I won't do that, you know. And then they try to talk him into doing it. And then Saturday is madness, you know, of getting ready for that. There's a, that was in my day anyway, I'm sure it's still the same, there was a 7:30, I think, run-through, real time, on camera, in case there was a disaster, a set disaster or something in the air show, and they had to broadcast the recorded one from that. If that ever happened, I don't remember it happening. The show was really live in my day. There was no delay at all. They eventually instituted, I think, a 7-second delay. But there was no delay when I was there. So Saturday was just the actors and the host are rehearsing like crazy. The crew, the carpenters, the electricians, the makeup people, the wardrobe people are going insane trying to get everything ready because it's live. At 11:30, boom, Joe Dixon went 10 seconds, and it was 10 seconds later, and you were on in all those, you know, out there in TV land. Mm-hmm. So that's how the week went. I'll tell you a good story about the host coming. I think the host would come either Tuesday or Wednesday morning. They would come usually, you know, just before this meeting. Read through, it's called, the writers' meeting, read through. So there was a really iconic actor that may be too much before all your time to remember, Robert Mitchum. He was something. You've seen those movies, right? I mean, he was really something. And Robert Mitchum also had done a couple of records of like weird kind of Caribbean music and stuff. So I was really excited about Robert Mitchum. And he's gone now, so I'll tell this story. He, as part of his package, you didn't get paid a whole lot to come and to host Saturday Night Live. I mean, you got something. Everything there was unionized and scale, and then you'd get whatever else, you know. But it wasn't a huge payday to do the show every week necessarily. It was decent, you know, if you got to be a known actor on there, and I was making good money after a while, you know. But for the actors, certainly the thing that Chevy Chase had done in the 70s, he was only on the show for 1 year, and then he went to Hollywood and started doing movies and made money, real money, because that's where the real money is, in Hollywood, in the films. So that became, you get on Saturday Night Live and then you go to and make movies. And so how many of them have done it? Lots of them, you know. Will Ferrell, right? People like that. Lots of them have done it. Mike Myers. So anyway, Robert Mitchum is going to be on, and I'm really excited about this. And part of his deal. You know, you get a car that picks you up, you stay at a great hotel and all that stuff. When he walks, his manager like had sent this missive, you know, about what, when he walks in, there must be a case of Herradura Gold Tequila available, and you will hand him an envelope with, I forget how much money, it wasn't a huge amount of money, less $2,000 or something in cash. And he's yours. He's a good guy, he's gonna do whatever you guys want him to do, he's into it, wants to do it. His daughter, Trina, had been friends with a lot of the Saturday Night Live people, I knew her and stuff, so he was, you know, wanting to do the show. So I'm there that day, you know, waiting, and you'd always hear on the little inner office intercom, Mitchum's car just pulled up. Okay, he's in the elevator, somebody's helping him, you know, they're walking him through, don't want him to get lost in the building. They bring him up to the 17th floor where the office is, and he comes in, and I forget who it was, somebody from the show, Mr. Mitchum, you know, thank you so much for coming, and well, great, you know, and he had this beautiful clothes on, this gold sport coat, woven, amazing. And he just kind of stands there looking around. Mr. Mitchum, your tequila is over here. Great, I'll have a drink later. He just stands there looking around. And I know who's got the money, right? And I go, give him the fucking money, okay? That's what it said when he walks in. I walk over, Mr. Mitchum, thank you. Okay, what do you guys want to do? You know, that was so cool. He was old time, you know, real classy. Not arrogant, just classy. There's a difference, right?